Americans are ordering takeout these days as restaurants limit dine-in service during the coronavirus pandemic. That means more customers and restaurants are relying on food delivery apps.
And the drivers and couriers are underpaid gig labor.
Akshay Daltani arrived in Sydney this year with big dreams, hoping to provide a better future for his parents in Mumbai. The international student worked as a food delivery rider for Uber Eats while completing his master's degree at Macquarie University. But he was killed on the job when an SUV hit his motorcycle in Epping last month. Unions say it's the 12th food delivery rider death on Australian roads in 6 years.
This morning, a first-of-its-kind announcement. App-based food delivery workers in New York City will now be eligible for minimum wage, a change that could have national implications.
This is huge and historic for an industry that did not had a basic pay standard, and most deliveristas had to rely on tips as their main form of payment for their labor.
Hey guys, it's me, Comrade Lavender here, and back with another anti-capitalism true crime YouTube video deep dive into this topic. Today I'm going to be doing the pure evil files, the food delivery services such as DoorDash, Uber Eats, and GrubHub, a deep dive into this topic, capitalism, true crime, etc. All of my YouTube videos, deep dive related topics related to this topic, will be on the screen right now, as well as in the description down below this video for more if you'd like to check them out. So let's get started into this YouTube video topic of food delivery services and delivery services as a whole. Companies like Uber Eats, DoorDash, and GrubHub have recently risen to prominence within the food service industry realm, opening up opportunities for employment while also entering an untapped market that can be easily exploited. During the height of the pandemic, food delivery services and food delivery via apps and the App Store took off. These capitalist companies are good at what they do, as they have built their whole entire brand on capitalism exploitation, preying on the working class, and stealing the fruits of their labor. When you look at the Become a Driver sections of these big three, Uber Eats, DoorDash, and GrubHub in particular websites, you'll find basic recruiting practices of any large manipulative capitalism company. A quick search will find that these sites are eerily similar to that of the U.S. Imperialist Army's recruitment homepage. It all makes sense. All these evil industries need some way to entice new victims, aka victims, to fund their greedy ventures. And this practice, and their greedy ventures, their greedy agenda, and this practice has proven most efficient. They're just looking for an opportunity to expand, this narrative. Life under capitalism is hard, brutal, and misery persists. The psychopathic capitalist companies, they know the utter desperation, the unfortunate need for the currency that guides every aspect of our lives, and they knowingly take advantage of this. They step on motherfuckers to get to the very top. These workers are forced into difficult, stressful, and hard situations in which they must choose livelihood over liveliness. Well, the income is suitable for a college student who still lives with their parents, which is definitely not enough to gain and maintain economic independence. You're basically bound to it like a wage slave. Base pay relies on order popularity, distance, and time. Promotions can be earned. Conditions are deemed challenging by the service, and tips, as one knows very much as the stock price of these growing companies. It's a game of chance, a blind roll of the dice, a gamble. These companies allegedly taking more than 20% what a driver makes from a delivery, which can result in a driver making far less than minimum wage. On the occasion that a driver makes enough money, they subsequently have other costs to worry about. Gas and car maintenance are the two most obvious, since the job requires to get a vehicle and deliver. However, the insurance required to do this job is an overlooked and expensive factor. Since you now have to use a car for your business, your insurance company needs to know in order to accurately charge your rates. Now you're paying so much more for car insurance than you used to, and none of it is covered by the capitalist company you work for. If you didn't choose to cover your car appropriately, the potential risks and accidents you'll face only prove much more detrimental to your bank account. Therefore, you are forced to make the difficult decision of paying more money to insure your car or take the risk to save as much as you can, all thanks to the exploitative capitalist company that you work for. Expenses aside, the actual work that these jobs entail is utterly grueling and misery and disturbing. Driving to and from house, to restaurant, to apartment, to diner, to dorm, to convenience store is nothing short of exhausting, mentally and physically. Sure, you get to listen to whatever music you want in your car, but at what cost? Is it really worth it? Driving the same roads over and over again can in no way be a pleasant experience. Factor in traffic, weather, detours, construction work, and other incompetent drivers, and you have a recipe for disaster. Maybe some people enjoy it, but I guarantee after a while, even they get tired of it. Whenever we find it convenient for ourselves to use these services, it adversely affects these drivers, aka the victims of capitalism, while providing massive capitalism profits to the companies that barely pay them. Every day, these drivers, the victims of capitalism, face rude, entitled customers and Karens, greedy, money-hungry, capitalist pig bosses, toilsome traffic, construction work, and busy restaurants, yet they still push on. These delivery drivers are braver and stronger than the United States Marines and troops. Capitalism, the system, is putting food carriers at risk. Researchers warn food delivery companies are willing to let vulnerable victims of capitalism drivers die and are resisting safety regulations to maintain extreme capitalism profits. Researchers warn in a major new study from the Australian National University the recent deaths of several food delivery drivers and couriers in Australia have highlighted the psychopathic nature of capitalism and how capitalism breeds psychopathy in the industry where companies are putting profits before lives ahead of people. According to the scientific researchers conducted, the paper published in Antiphobe draws an analysis showing 1 in 3 carriers sustained injuries on the job, while more than 2/3 reported the fear of being seriously injured or hurt while working. Average customer spending on Uber Eats has more than tripled from pre-pandemic levels. Without financial compensation or paid sick leave, the capitalist pigs don't care about your life because you're a replaceable commodity. When DoorDash delivery driver Chow Kang Sheen was killed in a car accident, he became the 3rd person in Australia to die while delivering food during the pandemic. By the end of the year, 5 delivery riders and drivers had died between September and November 2020, an average of 1 death every 2 weeks. Delivery workers file wage theft complaints against DoorDash. It was a routine user identification procedure Samelio Felix had done before and followed. Every year, DoorDash asks workers to resubmit their tax identification number, emails, phone numbers, and other documents for tax purposes and to confirm the identity of the owner of the account. Felix, who had been working as a delivery dasher for about a year and a half, submitted all the information necessary to the company, including his tax identification number known as a ITIN. The company, he said, never sent him a follow-up verification email, which he described as a final step in completing the process. Then it locked him out of his DoorDash account and withheld a $1,200 paycheck he said he earned that week. He was quoted in saying, "It makes me very angry," said Felix, who spoke to the city in his native Spanish language. "This is my only job, and when I lose access to my account, I have nothing else to fall back on. I submitted all my paperwork, followed all the company instructions, and to lose my account and my money in the process is very frustrating." Felix is one of 13 DoorDash delivery workers and drivers who filed complaints against the company between July 26 and Tuesday alleging wage theft, all while all the major app-based food delivery companies, including Uber Eats and GrubHub, sometimes lock workers out of their accounts, often with little to no explanation. DoorDash is the only one that routinely withholds workers' pay when they lock them out. WJP Executive Director Legua Galupa alleges. DoorDash drivers make an average of $1.45 an hour. Analysis finds a new in-depth quantitative study released as part of the worker campaign in collaboration with the workers' rights nonprofit Working Washington found that contract delivery workers for food delivery company DoorDash earn $1.45 per hour on average. The other expenses are accounted for, yet DoorDash's manipulative exploitation of its workers is evidently great for its business model and its investors. According to a CNBC, DoorDash seized 1/3 of the digital food delivery sales in the U.S. market in 2019. App-based delivery workers and their advocates who testified at a hearing to increase the minimum wage on Friday said corporate scare tactics were pushing them into accepting less pay than what they should be entitled to. A law passed by the City Council in 2021 and set the start of the beginning of this year guarantees the food carriers for services like DoorDash and GrubHub a minimum hour pay rate. More than 200 people signed up to testify. Manny Ramirez, a delivery worker for more than 8 years, said the companies were sending messages through the app and via text to scare workers away from supporting any pay increase, indicating that we're going to lose our jobs if we don't be on the side of the companies. Other delivery workers who testified said they feared the loss of flexibility or opportunity if the new pay scale was introduced. Companies have warned drivers that work opportunities may have to be rationed if the new pay floors go into effect. There have also been reports of a new report reveals the cartel-esque way that GrubHub exploits and forcibly takes cuts from mom-and-pop restaurants. Now in its ravenous quest for capitalism profits, GrubHub has allegedly been making money off restaurants by controlling their internet presence without them knowing. Documents the story of Shaveen M., who owns 2 small restaurants in Brooklyn, New York and Queens, New York with her husband. Shaveen was gearing up to ditch GrubHub after realizing the company's commission fees have been increasing over the years, hurting the restaurant's bottom line. 1 month she gave them $8,000 cut to the company. In an attempt to ditch GrubHub, she considered increasing her restaurant's web presence to offer online orders from their own website. But according to the report, Shaveen was shocked to find out that GrubHub already owned a domain that matched her restaurant's name. Shaveen made it clear she never gave them permission to do that. By the way, this is all allegedly, by the way.